back. Oh shit. Oh shit. Technical difficulties right on the. What are you doing?
At the same time, dude. We started at the exact same time.
Yeah, it's like that's gonna make the editing easier. Okay. Welcome
There
back
we go.
to another episode of The Archives. This is a podcast where we discuss the list of topics that we believe every human being alive should know, like a foundational knowledge base. So that includes financial literacy, digital literacy, productivity, psychology, philosophy. I'm missing history and politics. Yeah, I think that covers it.
You remember them.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
Alright, so today we're going to talk about.
Let's talk about. We haven't spoken about productivity yet, so let's kick it off with that.
Alright, let's go. Do you have any thoughts to start a
What
conversation?
what does productivity mean to you?
To me, productivity is a lifestyle. I think that's how you can boil it down to its very essential. I think it's a lifestyle. You really can't be that. You can't really be productive, which is really just being the most efficient you can in the day, without having a somewhat of a schedule and more of not so much schedule, but more of a habit. If you know what I mean. And those tend to fall into scheduling. It's like going to the gym or going to class. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Productivity is definitely a lifestyle. That's a good way to put it. Because you don't have productivity if it's not part of a long period of time, which is, i.e., your lifestyle.
Exactly.
So yeah, dude, like, and what you pointed out, schedule. Dude, I wasn't a big fan of scheduling.
Oh, I know. In freshman year, you used to sleep until
Yeah,
until God woke you up.
yeah, dude. I mean, dude, because you hear it everywhere that let things take its course.
Oh, that's the biggest lie you can tell to yourself.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Oh, one I was victim of the same thing when we met, basically.
Yeah,
Because that's the thing, and especially when you're young, which is like we were talking about this the other day. You could finish college off in 2 years or less easily if you were just dedicating yourself full time to college.
it wouldn't be easy, but you could do it. Very
Like it'll be doable,
Yes,
and it wouldn't
doable.
be extremely challenging. It wouldn't be like
Yeah.
making a PhD in a month, which is
Yeah.
essentially impossible.
yeah,
It would just mean a lot more commitment and a
Yeah.
lot less fuckery.
yeah,
That's the thing. Like college has become this idea of you go, you get your degree, you fuck around for 4 years, and then you go into the world and
yeah,
fend for yourself.
yeah,
And I think that, I mean, honestly, I like that idea. I very much enjoy the idea. I had a great time,
yeah,
and I didn't. I mean, also there were a lot of classes that I just simply didn't like, so I didn't really put all my effort into it. But as a result, I started slagging a lot. I don't know if that slacking is the word. You know what I mean? I would just do what's needed, and that doesn't really
Yeah.
translate well when you're older and you actually have shit that you want to do and that you're
Yeah.
not just compelled to do for whatever 6 months or months. You finish it and you move on.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, dude. I mean, it's funny because when you said you only would do what's needed.
Oh yeah, the
But-
bare essentials.
Yeah, exactly. And that what I mean when I bring it up is it shows you the point to which we believed in the
The system.
yeah, like we believed that into the whole the
Oh, we played
narrative
into it, yeah.
narrative that you let things take its course while and which the course is what you're doing, getting the
What do you
grade.
feel like?
Yeah.
With because a very good way to put it is if the essay was supposed to be 2 to 4 pages in a subject,
Two pages.
I didn't care about that essay was going to be 2 pages. If I was feeling generous, it would be 2.5.
That's, I think, the opposite of productivity.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
no, I thought that was productivity. Honestly, I thought I was being like.
I mean, you were getting stuff done for sure.
You were getting things done with less amount of energy.
You know what's funny? Professor would still give you A's, B's, passing
Yeah.
grades, and sometimes good grades. And fuck it, people consider B good grades. Some people, at least.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So
I
you were
think
getting kind of rewarded.
Hmm.
I don't think it should be that way, dude. I think there should be a. I don't know, man. I haven't thought about it, but there should be a better system too. Actually, no, fuck that. That gets resolved if you don't do the shit that you find stupid, like theology.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, I was gonna say that there should be a better way of forcing a word count, but that just gets eliminated altogether if you cut the bullshit and actually do stuff that feels meaningful. Because then you
Yeah.
feel like you're learning, and then the word count doesn't. It becomes
Yeah,
more of a setback.
The word count is the stupidest thing ever. It like makes it in fact helps you do the least possible. So that tells you then what
It
you have to do.
encourages you
Yeah.
to the least possible.
Yeah.
Ah,
So it again, it makes you actually be less productive while making you feel like you're being more productive.
and that's the thing, though. Productivity is a tricky issue because people tend to fill their day up with not necessarily the most beneficial things, and not just fuckery, just things that you're doing it, but it should not be taking this long. But since they filled up their whole day,
Yeah.
they feel productive, and they're not being the most unproductive they can be, but they're definitely not striving to give their 100%.
Yeah, that's a misconception that even I bought into for a long time. That if you by just doing things, being busy,
Yeah,
that's not the
what-
same as being productive.
It's not at all. And so many days just go by and they really get wasted because of, at least I've played into
I mean,
this idea.
but
many times.
it's still a better problem to be in. You know?
Oh, it's the next natural step to not doing shit.
Yeah.
Unless you're completely compelled to do it.
Yeah. No, exactly.
But what I was saying was that this idea of, okay, I'm just going to do what's asked, it doesn't translate well into your later years in college if you actually care about what you're studying. Because, I mean, there's a lot better ways to learn stuff. But especially, I think, for hard skills, like technical skills, I think there's a place for college, with good professors at least. So people slack off and they don't really learn anything. Or you do the minimum so that, you give something to a professor. So you fill up the assignment, maybe you find a check or some stuff like that.
What's your point? That there should be
That it doesn't translate well into your later years.
What?
This idea, the idea that I just do what I am asked and that's it. And the rest of the time, it's my time for me to essentially slack off. You know what I mean?
No, that's never good.
It's not, but
Yeah.
people play into it a lot.
Oh
and then
yeah.
you go into the work. That's what I'm saying. And then you go into the workplace, and whatever you're working at, even if you're just
Yeah.
working for yourself, then it's really bad.
Yeah. Also, you're saying that it continues.
Oh, it
Yeah.
compounds, and then
Yeah.
it's really hard breaking a habit. And when you find yourself having a habit, and that's the thing, bro. People they don't realize they have this habit until it's too late sometimes, and they missed
Yeah.
opportunities.
Dude, and the thing with habits are, the longer it goes, the
The harder
harder
it
it
is
is
to
to change ways.
100%.
Dude, it's horrible. Like because for example, running for me, I used to before the December break, I was running maybe 4 to 5 times a week, and in the December break, the 1 month, I didn't go in once because I went back home, and then the first month back, I went running twice
Yeah.
because it was like I now that I like try to think back, I don't even remember what excuses I gave myself to rationalize not going. And then the one day I'd go, it was horrible. 'Cause
Yeah, you don't feel like doing it anymore.
And then you're like, you deserve a rest. I deserve one more day,
Rest.
as rest, and then that becomes 2 days, 3 days, 4 days.
That's why with things that require time, just sheer time, which some things do, like learning a new skill, physical health, even eating better, being healthier, all that takes a time commitment. That's why the best way to get into the habit is just scheduling it in. That's what I was saying in the beginning.
Yeah.
If you give it a time of your day, if you not just make up stuff to fill up your calendar and feel busy, but actually compartmentalize your day in a way that you fall into a routine. That's how you get habits too.
Yeah.
And it can
100%.
be free flowing. Doesn't have to be, oh, every day I have to sleep by this time.
Yeah.
But it should be something like, okay, I'm gonna give it 2 hours and it's gonna be around this time. And the more you do it, the more you see, okay, this day I can do this at this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like guidelines.
Exactly.
It gives you a direction,
Exactly.
but then you get to decide. You get a lot of freedom.
Exactly.
And that doesn't make you feel imprisoned to the schedule.
The only thing that I do, I mean, this is a theory I'm still testing, although I'm testing it for me because I know for a fact this is good, there's science behind it.
Yeah.
Is that you should always try to wake up, at least on your productive days, which will tend to be the week. You should wake up at the same time every day.
Dude, you should, in my opinion, you should wake up at the same time every day, all week. Because as soon as you, thing is, like you said, it takes time, right? Habits. And if you have 5 days and then 2 days off, then you've broken the time right in the beginning. Maybe once
That
you
is
have
true.
it, once you've started doing it for like 1-2 months and you have it locked down, then you can afford to take 5 days on, 2 days off, 6 days on, 1 day off, 5 days off, like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean,
But in the beginning, dude, I don't think you can afford to do that because
I
it
mean,
gets too easy to break it.
it always gets recommended in this package. I'm sure it has to do because with the fact that the workday is 5 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ideally, you don't do it ever. And if you do it, you have a good reason to break it.
Yeah.
Not that also has to do a lot with what time you go to sleep, which I think it's even harder to control,
Yeah.
at least for me.
It again. I mean, it all
depends.
depends on a lot of factors because waking up depends on when you sleep. When you sleep depends on your environment around you, where you are, and so on and so forth. There are multiple factors.
Do you think, just a empirical question, do you think that now that you kind of live by yourself in the sense that your room is like a mini apartment,
Yeah.
do you think it's easier to stick to schedules now than it was when you when you had people around you all the time?
If that room was in a standalone apartment,
Okay.
it would, but it's not.
Oh, right. You
so-
have your neighbors are. I mean, yeah, you live in a frat house. Your neighbors
Dude,
are loud.
Yeah, I live in a house. So in fact,
That's it.
with 12 people, dude, it's not easy.
No, yeah,
It's a
but
bitch, dude, sometimes.
like for you at least, you get to retreat into your room, and your room is big. Dude. You know what I mean? You have a mini living room in your room.
Yeah, but I mean, it just feels that you can describe it as a mini living room, but it doesn't feel like a mini living room. It feels like a big room, big bedroom.
Okay. Yeah, I also was curious.
Yeah, no, but your point is 100% true. Like if I
Yeah.
had my own
Place,
place,
like studio.
yeah, it would be so much easier to stay in routine and therefore like be productive.
Yeah. Yeah, same with me. I mean,
No,
it's
but-
fun living with people.
Well,
It's
good.
nice. I'm sure it gets too lonely if you're living alone.
It's not that the fact that you're living with people is the problem. It's just
No,
who
it's
they
you
are.
not having the willpower to break off when you should go
No,
to
that's
sleep.
what I'm saying. It's not the people. It's who the people are and your willpower. It's both. Because if you have a really strong willpower and all the people around you are like making you do what you're not supposed to do, then it's fine because you have a strong willpower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like you said, it factors. A lot of things factor into it.
Yeah, and the environment is one of the strongest. Too. It's most influential.
Also, at least I would say, in my opinion, a lot of the internals are very important because in order to be, I mean, we're talking about productivity, which is the root of it all. And in order to be productive, I think you have to have your personal stuff in order. You have to have your internal house in order. You know what I mean?
Like you're like cleaning your bedroom.
No, like your internal, yourself. You know what I mean?
Like
Yeah.
just have mental clarity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just know what you're doing, know why you're doing it, and not having question because nothing is harder than committing to a habit then you have no. It's not no rationalization, but no logic behind why you're doing it
Oh,
beyond
yeah.
just doing it.
What you're describing is a plan.
Yeah,
A
of
plan.
sorts.
More accurately, what you're describing is an end goal.
An end goal. Yeah, it's more like it.
Yeah, it's called North Star. Having your North Star, dude. The Minute Thinker made a video on this. Yeah.
For those who don't know, the Minute Thinker was Sid's stab at a informational YouTube channel, and the differentiating factor of the videos was that the videos were supposed to be 1 minute. They never went just 1 minute, but they were short. That's the point.
Yeah. It's short. It was my Instagram description was knowledge bombs. Daily knowledge bomb.
Honestly, I didn't dislike the information in the Minute Thinker, but animation is such a pain in the ass.
Dude, yeah. And dude, now I look back at it, it's so shit. It's horrible. For the amount of effort and energy I put into it, it was god terrible, dude.
Oh, the Minute Thinker was a trip.
Yeah, but point is, the North Star is very important. You can't have you cannot be productive without having North Star.
Why don't you? North Star.
A North Star.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like we said, you just have to have a set of guidelines that
Yeah.
push you in the right direction.
Yeah. But there are like general rules of thumb that work.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to. Also, I think in order to be productive, truly productive, in order to get into it, at least, it's too. You have to believe in yourself in a way. Like you have to believe you can achieve whatever your North Star is. You have to believe you can reach it.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, I see people that are religious with, say, taking care of their pet, or that be a dog, a cat, or whatever.
Yeah.
But they themselves are a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Now what you're describing is limiting beliefs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's because, I mean, we know ourselves the best. And there's a lot of shitty things about all of us.
Yeah.
And if you get caught up in those shitty things, you're not going to feel like you're worthy of achieving your goals. So even though you have them and you want to do them, there will be things that will get in your way. Example, anxiety of not being good enough and stuff like that. And it's just because, I mean, you know yourself the best, and it compounds, like we said before. If you've always been a slacker and you've had opportunities pass in front of you, it's going to compound, and you're going to start feeling like you're not good enough, and that's why you didn't take the opportunities. And eventually, you're going to be taking excellent care of your dog, but you're going to be a failure to yourself. And not even because you're you might be successful in whatever you're doing, but if you're not true to yourself and you don't shoot for those goals that only you know, with all your imperfections and all your shittiness, still be able to think that you can do it, then you're just going to be, you're going to fail yourself. You're not going to be able to live up to your potential.
No, yeah, 100%. If you don't think you can do whatever you're trying to do, it's never gonna happen. Because dude, Henry Ford said that his quote: "If you think you're right, or if you think you're wrong, you're correct."
Yeah.
Or it was, if you think you can do it, or you think you can't do it, you're correct.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you're saying.
It's so true. And so many people are victim to this. And
Yeah.
I think people just need to. I think that people, unless you're born a genius or you just have the right guidance throughout your life, people don't think they can make a difference. You know what I mean? And that happens to a lot of people. The reality is that the lower you're born in the socioeconomic chain, or triangle, whatever you want to call it, the more you have to fend for yourself and the less you have time to think what it is that you want to do.
Yeah, survival.
Yeah, exactly. Survival. And you can only really be successful and reach your North Star, at least I think, when you combine whatever you want to do with something that someone needs, whether that be a person or, most importantly, your community, the world, your country, whatever the fuck you want to name it. You just have to merge those two. I think people, and for good reason, they get caught in fending for themselves and doing what gives them profit, what helps them,
Yeah.
and they just stay in there. And so
No.
many people with good potential are just wasted.
Yeah, dude. In like to repeat what you just said in another way, the thing with achieving north stars that are actually like big, that are big dreams that you would describe as big dreams is long term horizons.
Right.
And for long term achievements, you need short term sacrifice. But what happens when you're born further down into the socioeconomic class or group or whatever, you can't afford to make short term sacrifices. And,
That's true.
And then by nature, you're unable to strive for the long term goals. Because you cannot have long term goals without short term sacrifice. If you could, everyone would do it.
Right.
And then it's no longer a big dream. Then it's normal. It's normality. It's what everyone does.
That's true.
So that's the issue, right?
That also comes with. There's many issues embedded in this, but that also comes with more, I think at least, more focused and more accessible education. Because if you can educate yourself to be competitive in any field, whether that be really anything, it doesn't have to be a big technical career, it can be really anything. But as long as you educate yourself to and whatever it is you want to do, and there's a number of things that you can adapt whatever you want to do, and small goals, big goals. Maybe you're a mechanic. Yeah, you can be a mechanic, or you can make a mechanical shop chain or whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want.
So it's just, obviously education is a big part of it, and
Even opportunity.
Yeah, but you see, I think, obviously some people are just dealt bad cards and they have shitty luck. But for the person who's not particularly unlucky, there are a lot of opportunities that come by, and sometimes people are too stubborn or too willfully blind to see them. And a lot of people think they're way unluckier than they actually are. Because if you think you're unlucky, I'll put it to you in a story I listened to recently. This guy had a kid who was in the hospital, and the hospital, especially a kid's hospital, it's a horrible place. So as he was going to, go to his kid in the wing that she was at, I don't remember what she had, something bad, something that had to do with organs. He went through the, cancer aisle, or terminal aisle, cancer aisle, and all these horrible diseases. And he said, damn, I'm not saying I have it good, but I could have it way worse. And that has a lot to do with mentality.
Perspective.
Yeah. A lot of people think they're dealt, and his daughter survived actually. So it was a shitty situation, but it could have been a lot worse. And sometimes people get boxed up in shitty situations and completely choke and annihilate any opportunity that they might have in the future.
Dude, do you know what the average your average annual earning has to be in the top 1% of the world?
I remember this, but I don't remember the number exactly.
And this is ignoring obviously cost of living and stuff, and there are other factors in play, but it does give you perspective.
Just wealth, right? However much you make.
What your annual earning is could be in the 1% of annual earnings
of the world.
World.
Shoot, I'm sure it's going to be something
ridiculous. $33,000.
That's not that far. How much is minimum wage?
It depends on the state. Like
here in California, I'm pretty sure it's
around 10.
No, a year.
Oh, like the average Californian income?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
No, the minimum wage for California for a year.
Oh, a year? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's not that far from that number.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's not at all.
Probably like 20, 25, maybe. Around, not less than that for sure.
I think it's way higher than 20. I think it's in the high 20s, maybe low. I could be completely wrong, but I think it's around that.
It's not very far from 33.
Yeah, it
Dude,
just
almost if you're in the USA, you're born in the USA, you're automatically in the top 1% of the world,
pretty much.
pretty much.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people think they're dealt bad cards, and they might have been dealt shittier cards than other people, but nowhere near the worst. The worst. I mean, I'm sure you've had the opportunity to see some of what my eyes have seen as the worst back home, and you have too. And I think even the poorest person in the U.S., as long as they have a home, it's nothing compared to living in slums or displaced villages. Shit like that is
No,
just otherworldly.
like, I mean, I can't. This may sound really pretentious and first world problem, but like, dude, it's true. I can't conceptualize how it would feel like to open a tap and not get water flowing through it.
Yeah, that
Do you know what I mean?
no, yeah, it's
And that be a regular. And dude,
that'd be
something
such
like
a regular feeling of anguish.
yeah, dude, I honestly don't think we can't like make comments and say give our opinions on this because we're not the we're not fit for it. You know, we don't have the experience to
Yeah.
give our opinions. But dude, this reminds me of even the movie Parasite. In the first scene, dude, they were like, do you remember it? They were trying to get internet.
Yeah, they were going to all corners of the
Yeah.
roof to try to steal their neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, dude, it's stuff like that. And you could tell that this wasn't a new phenomenon for them.
Oh no, this is what they grew up in.
Yeah, dude, and it's crazy because I was watching a video on YouTube that broke down a small like a not a movie review but like just an analysis of Parasite.
That was such a good movie, by the
Yeah,
way. If you have the chance and you haven't watched it, you should definitely watch it.
won an Oscar.
It's one of the best movies I've seen in a while. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, and the whole movie is a commentary on the socioeconomic divide
Oh yeah,
and the power and the power of perspective. Because if you I mean spoiler alert, but if you remember, the wealthy family was the rich, and
oh shit.
the other family was the poor, right?
Right.
But then when you think that they had it bad, then the other the other couple comes along.
Homeless couple came.
Yeah, and then the other situation feels a lot better, right? Even for them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to the analysis, but like you get
No,
you get the
yeah,
point.
yeah. No, and I heard about it 1,000 times when it won the Oscar that it was a commentary on Korean social landscape, basically,
Yeah,
amongst other things, socioeconomic landscape.
yeah.
And yeah, it was just a really, really good movie. I honestly don't like movies that are not in English or Spanish because
You don't understand it.
I don't understand it, and the subtitles are not really that great for me. But I didn't have a problem watching this movie at all. I honestly think it would have been worse if it was dubbed to Spanish or English. 100%.
Definitely, dude. It was it. I mean, I've already told this to you, but you should really watch Train to Busan
Mm.
because that's
So-
another. I believe it's Korean. Could be wrong, but it's definitely an Asian movie, and it's not along the same lines as this by any means. It's completely different,
It's just a good movie.
but it's a good movie, dude. Like it wasn't. I would watch it again, and that's saying a lot
Let's
because
watch it soon.
yeah, because I'm very critical to types of all that productivity. I'm very critical about like where time goes, where time is spent, because that, as we mentioned, is the let's call it the fuel of productivity. Without time, you don't have productivity.
Right.
I mean, without time, you don't have anything. But yeah, so I'm very critical where time is spent, and watching a movie is like it's a pretty good movie, dude. I watch it again.
Dude, honestly, going back to productivity,
Yeah.
in my opinion, some people take it way too far in terms of how they choose to spend their time. And I do think we talked about this like a month ago. Not relaxation or reward for work is not the right thing. It's more of a not sorry break or relaxation is not the right thing. It's more of a you get rewarded for doing work. You get rewarded with something that even though it might not be necessarily super productive, you'll enjoy, like watching a movie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so some people take it way too far. I met this guy a few months ago that he was the CEO, some chief officer position in
Executive position.
executive position in the company my girlfriend works at. And I think the guy was taking it a little too far. He was one of those people that they don't sit down. They're always standing up because they think the idea is still better, which is fair. But
Yeah, that's fine.
that's fine, but he'll be on a treadmill where he was typing and stuff like that. Like one of those treadmills where you can type and walk
I mean, if
slowly.
it works for him, dude, like,
That's the thing. I mean, from my limited interaction with him, it had him on edge. That guy needed a break. He would wake up super early, go for a run, immediately go to work, keep on working, super short fuse. And I think personally,
okay.
that was the reason. What I mean is, obviously, I'm sure it works for some people to balance, but what I mean is, you should also work yourself to the ground in the name of productivity. You should find a balance where it's sustainable for you.
No, dude, productivity means that, like, dude, that's what we said in the beginning. Productivity doesn't mean busy work.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, that's right. But if you kept going doing something meaningful, yeah, it's still meaningful. It's not necessarily busy work, but at some point, you're actually hindering yourself. You need a break.
Yeah, you may have productivity for the short time horizon.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
But-
sustainable.
Yeah, if it's not sustainable, then you're just hurting yourself because that's never the end goal is never short term. It's always long term. If your goal is short term, then you need to change your goal because, this is another opinion, but if you're aiming, okay, let's put it on a scale from 1 to 10. If you're aiming for 10, then that means by definition if you're aiming for 10, you're going to put in the work that's required for 10. That means that the worst case scenario with that much amount of work would be, say, a 7 maybe. But if you're aiming for a 5, if you're aiming for a 7, then you only put in the work that's needed for a 7. And in that situation, worst case becomes 4.
Fifth proportion.
So my point is,
But it's not. That's
the point is the 10 is always long term. Always.
That is true. And again, so just to recap, it's more about striking the balance between being productive to the point where you're.
No, that's what I'm saying. Productivity
Yeah.
means long term.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I was gonna say.
That's not fake productivity.
I was gonna say it's striking a balance between doing shit that's actually meaningful and you're getting somewhere,
Yeah.
and making that sustainable.
Yeah.
So that you can maintain it for extended period of time rather than maybe you'll bang out the first piece of work, the first box of work, then you'll burn yourself to the ground in the process, and then what good are you for the rest?
Dude, I came across this really interesting story. There was this company named Valiant, okay? And I could be wrong. It was basically this company that this guy started, and what he did was, under Valiant, he bought a whole bunch of pharmaceutical companies. Okay, and as you know, a major expense in pharmaceutical companies is R&D.
Right.
So under Valiant, in Valiant's financials, all the investors, I think it was a public company. I'm not sure, but it could have been a public company. It was big, and to the investors, he kept on showing Valiant profit on a constant increase. Okay, and the investors were like, sick, it's working, they're doing something right, and they kept on pouring money, the value of the company kept on skyrocketing, and then suddenly just it went bust. The whole thing just collapsed. And what happened was this guy was cutting on R&D expense slowly, and was boosting the profit. And then eventually he got destroyed. So I mean that's just another example.
Of short term.
Yeah,
Wow. That is really stupid.
dude.
Wow.
I don't know who's more stupid, the guy or the investors.
Yeah.
You know,
Funny shit like this happens all the time.
dude, and dude, it's one of like the most it's one of the best examples of short-term thinking, even when especially when it comes to money, because what we've been trained. I mean, this is a bit it might sound a bit extreme, but what we've been trained to think as a society is you get paid for money, you get paid for time.
Yeah.
So you work X hours, and as soon as that's done, you get the amount of money for that time. And on the flip side is you don't get paid by time, but you get paid for value, the amount of value you create, and more generally, more often than not, that looks like an exponential graph. It looks like no value, no value, no value, and then let's call it creation time of value, and then there's a huge spike because then the value is created, and then it spreads, and and the next the natural consequence of it is it takes time, bro, to get to the knee of the curve. It takes time, and in the model that we've been trained as, you don't have time without getting money back. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Time goes, you want the money, and the money doesn't come because, like I said, it takes time, and then you put in some more. It again doesn't come because it takes time, and then you're like, it's not working, I'll stop, and then you never get to the end of the curve.
Instant gratification versus also
Delayed
sustained growth.
Delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Or sustained growth. Similar
No, it's
things.
the same thing. Yeah. I was just saying if you want to make
Yeah.
equal comparison.
And good, I think this is a good segue for our last discussion point, which is I want to get your opinions before I give mine on having employees come to an office and be paid based on time, or just giving a set salary for an employee and giving them goals. So they can either come into the office or work at home. Obviously, this system would be there will be meetings where everybody comes and get on the same
Yeah, the
page.
system would be whatever worked for the company.
Yeah, exactly. But the main idea being you don't get paid
For the time.
for the time that you put into actually sitting there and being in the office, but rather for however much time you take, whether that be a lot or a little, to meet certain goals that are preset in meetings.
Yeah, dude. Like I would, if I had the resources, I would run that experiment for sure.
I think that'd be a great. Some companies are already moving towards this kind of
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, because my cousin, he's in, I forget which, I think he's working in Walmart, and over there, they don't have you don't have set number of vacation days. It's like you take how many vacations you want, how much ever you want, as long as you get the work done. And what they found is people are actually taking less holidays. They're working more when they have the freedom to decide.
That's interesting. That just goes to show the system, the way. I mean, at least this is my opinion. That's where I was going. Yeah, you basically validated it. The system that we've been taught and the system that's prevalent in our society, it's not by far not the most efficient one, because I read the study that said that somewhere upwards of 50% of the time spent in an office is wasting. Like, people are just spending wasting time.
I believe that.
Think about this. If you just give, obviously we're in jobs where it's possible. If you just give people the flexibility, they can come in or they can stay at home, but they're not compelled to come in every day other than a set few times. And that even can be over the phone, but whatever. people are actually going to work better because they're going to be happier and therefore going to be more committed to the betterment of the company rather than just collecting a check. Because if you hate the place where you work at, or not even if you hate the place, if you don't like the place, you don't believe in what the company's doing, you're not going to give your best work. And you are not benefiting from that, neither is the company. But it's all based on this system that, I mean, it was preset a long time ago when physical labor meant you had to actually be present where you work for a set number of hours. And in that case, the value of your work is equal to the amount of time you put in. And those type of jobs, it is. Like, you're getting paid exclusively for your time. It's not your ideas or your, I mean, it might be your expertise, but
it's not, there's a cap on how much value.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can only produce X amount of hours a week, and there's also legal cap to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even how much you can physically work; it's how much they'll allow you.
Exactly.
Whereas, I mean, yeah, those jobs are going to be there forever, and they're going to be that way forever, and there's value in that.
No, those jobs are going to be done by robots, bro.
Okay, I think that's a long way to go. I'm talking about the present. The exact present
long,
we're today.
long way to go is subjective.
Yeah,
but within the century.
Yeah, but I mean, longer term, not immediate by any means.
Yeah.
And those jobs right now, I think they're important. And I think that when the robots come, there's going to be a shift, and everything's going to change. And nobody knows how it's going to look. But I do think it's going to be a shift. I don't think people are just going to be ran out of jobs by robots. That's just my personal opinion.
Dude,
it's a system that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Because the physical labor jobs are associated with people are not necessarily the highest expertise, which happen to be the people that are lower in the socioeconomic chain. And if you just run those people out of the job completely and replace them for robots when that technology is available, you're essentially signing a death sentence. So even if it's through regulation, people are not going to be left out in the dead to starve.
Dude, I don't disagree with the overarching point you're making, but just for the sake of conversation, the point you made about the people doing the manual labor, right? The people who do the physical work, they're not necessarily at the low end of socioeconomic.
I'm not saying they're on the low end, but they're in the mid to low end, on average.
I mean, yeah, on average, they were. And I mean, like I said, I don't disagree with the overall point.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, but what they're getting paid now compared to what they were getting paid, say, 2 decades ago, dude. Within the first couple of years, plumbers are making six figures, more 6 figures, and the reason why is supply and demand. Because, dude, I know this because right now I'm writing on I'm writing about the relationship between college graduate and the labor market, and it ties into this like exactly because in this 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, there was a massive shift, like post World War II basically. There was a massive shift to white collar workers of the digital world, with the transition. There was a massive shift to white collar labor and the demand for white collar workers, the skill based workers, and so all the students went to college, all of them got degrees, they all got educated on white collar work, and now there's oversupply in white collar labor and an undersupply for blue collar work. And there's also a really famous show in the US on when cable was the thing back then, Dirty Jobs, and those workers who like work in pipelines, sewer pipelines, like in the city, they are getting paid like 100 grand, 150 grand in the first 2 years because no one has the ability to do it because all the training programs to do that work, no one came, everyone went to college. And now the few people who went there are making bank. Even in New Zealand, all the plumbers are getting paid more than the bankers.
Well, when you say that, I mean, that's an interesting point for sure. But
it's bound to change.
No, but when you say that, that's more abundant in first world countries.
What? Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Second, the third world countries, there's just too many people.
Yeah, and
The supply
I would
demand
say
is.
there's an overwhelming abundance of labor workers.
Oh, dude. Yeah. This is only first world.
Yeah. I thought that was a worthy,
Yeah, point. No, I'm just,
a worthy thing to mention.
definitely. In the third world, supply demand is not a factor that is going to be changed very soon because there are always going to be people who there'll always be another person who's willing to do what you're going to pay them to do.
Funny how different economies work.
Yeah, dude.
But to wrap it up, yeah, in order to boost productivity, we have to change the fundamental way we see the exchange of work for reward, or that be payment or whatever. Yeah, it's gonna be payment.
No, anything.
Yeah,
If
anyway.
it's just a personal happiness.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you, in your head, you're getting paid by time, then you are bound to not be productive. You're going to be the most unproductive you can be while still meeting the goals. Whereas, if you're just trying to do your best, and whoever's your employer is giving you the tools you need to do your best and feel comfortable with your job, then that's how real productivity is going to happen. Obviously, that's assuming that people actually enjoy what they're doing, but with this system, I don't see what they would do something they don't enjoy unless it pays back. And that's not all jobs. So, yeah, I think a fundamental change is needed in order to teach the newer generations productivity. And
I mean, I don't think it's a newer generation problem. I think in older generations, all people of all ages suffer from it.
oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but we can't change those. So
I mean, yeah.
help the people to come because a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
people,
you can definitely insert.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
We can't
no, I
really
agree.
help all those people, but we can help the people who are coming after us.
Yeah, no, it's easier.
Yeah, because
Way easier.
I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I still think in your younger years, it's still a very doable shift. Like if you're 20 something, low 20s, even high 20s, if you make a fundamental change in your life, which you internalize, and you can still do it. But I mean, we would all be a little more productive. We had more years to be productive, and that can only happen if we teach the kids that being productive is not just filling up your time, but rather doing something meaningful with it.
Yeah, dude, you don't call it formative years for no reason.